Welcome to AquarianRadio.com.
AquarianRadio.com.
Aloha, this is Enki. You know me as Aquarius, and this is our age, the Sata Yuga, time to celebrate with us. We have programs on all chakra tantra, love styles and relationship choices, counseling strategies and techniques that you can use at home. We have extraterrestrial radio where we deal with alienology, paranormal people, and we have an experiencers network. We have a section called Ancient Aliens, and the programs therein are Enki Speaks, Nimma, the Mother of Humanity, has her program, and we revise ancient anthropology. And most important of all, we have peace paradigms, because this is the age of peace, harmony and understanding, sympathy and love abound. No more falsehoods or derisions. Mystic crystal dreams. Aloha. I'm Dr. Sasha Lesin, Dean of the School of Tantra. On this show, All Chakra Tantra, we explore Tantra in the sense of weaving, being able to center yourself and embrace the opposites within you at each level of your consciousness, each chakra. You learn to work your inner power plants that generate security, sexuality, power, love, communication, vision, and feelings of oneness with everyone and everything. You get all your chakras going together within you and between you and your lovers, and you really connect and feel the spirit. Call in your questions. We're happy to answer them.
Join us on All Chakra Tantra.
All Chakra Tantra.
And here are your hosts, Janet and Sasha.
Aloha, and welcome to Aquarian Radio. Welcome to All Chakra Tantra. Today's show, the title is What You Do in Tantra School. And today is January 3rd, 2013. I'm your host, Janet Lesin, and my co-host today is...
Dr. Sasha Lesin. Aloha.
So, Dr. Lesin is going to tell us a little bit more about today's subject.
Well,
Take it
before
away,
I
honey.
do, I would like to tell you about a very interesting thing that we learned in psychology. It's called the Zeigarnik effect, and that is that what you're in the middle of or didn't get to complete hangs on in your mind, and you're more likely to remember it if it's incomplete than if you completed it. So at the end of this intro to these programs that we had there, I was reciting the last part of the Age of Aquarius, and I never got to say the last line, which is the mind's true liberation. And so that's the last line.
So are you saying the mind's true liberation, like the mind is true liberation, or the mind through liberation?
No, the mind's true liberation.
I always thought it was the mind through liberation.
No, it's true liberation means you're free of all the attachments.
The whole saying is harmony and understanding.
Sympathy. Yeah, go ahead, sing it. Sympathy and love abound.
Sympathy and love abound.
No more falsehoods or derisions.
No more falsehoods or derisions.
Mystic crystal dreams and visions. And the mind's true liberation. Aquarius. And so I never got to finish it. Now I did, and I hope that our techie will complete it so I don't have to go through this each time.
Well,
that's a Zeigarnik effect.
Wonderful tech, Manny Bombardier. Anyway, he's working on it, and we hope soon that that'll be corrected so Sasha can relax every time he hears it.
Yeah. So back to Tantra School. So this is such an incredibly moving experience to be in these Tantra schools that I've been doing for many years and doing with Janet for many years, and to just see how people whose hearts are full of love learn how to totally transform that through their knowledge and understanding and ability to center themselves and help people on their growth paths through their love lives. And so that's what becoming a tantrika a tantric practitioner or someone that can help yourself, the people you're involved with, or even professionally help other people to a whole human being kind of relating, the way that we teach doing that in our school, the School of Tantra. And so what we're going to do today is, Janet, who's been through the school as a student and as a co-teacher, is going to relate as we talk about what it is to be like, to arrive here in paradise and to experience coming to Tantra School and meeting the people and just what that whole thing is like for you. And it'll be sort of a composite since she's done it so many times, but you can probably even remember that time when there was 33 people here.
Yes, I've attended hundreds of Tantra School over the past 15 years. I arrived here in 1997. Arriving at the Tantra community was very interesting for me. When I arrived with my luggage in hand, there was a gardener who was out in the yard, and he was gardening completely naked. And so I went, wow, this is I'm home, you know. And so it's very tropical here. The school is up against the mountains. There's 12 miles of rainforest behind us. This is the forest preserve, and it's absolute paradise here. And so, what was your first? Fill in the gaps. What else did you want to know?
So when you got here, and Tantra School is starting, and now it's there, and what's it like to come into this group of people, some of whom you know and some of whom you don't know?
Well, for me, it was interesting, Tantra School. I'm trying to remember the first time through it, but I started with a Tantra seminar with you.
Okay, start with that. It's the same thing.
The first one was at Mount Madonna,
Mm-hmm.
and the second one was in upstate New York at the Growth Center.
Yeah, and so this is like a condensed version of what we teach each person in the program to be able to do. So that here I am leading a weekend group, which is what people at the end of the first training will be able to do. Go ahead, Jan.
Right. So what stands out in my mind from my earliest exposure to your form of Tantra was the two things, the pujas and the demonstrations on the female ejaculatory orgasm. And I remember when I first saw a person ejaculate, a woman ejaculate in person, live and not on a video, and how powerful that was. I vowed to be able to do that someday in front of an audience. And in that moment, I said, I'm going to dedicate my life towards, being able to do this type of thing, because it was just so transformative. And the puja, for me, I was going through a very difficult time. In 1997, my mother and father were both very sick. Didn't know which one was going to die first. And my mother seemed to be more closer to death than my father. In fact, at the conference in upstate New York, I got a call. And my sister wanted me to come home. She thought things were pretty bad, that Mom might die. She didn't end up dying. That was September until like December of that year of 97. But the pujas and the work that we do here at the School of Tantra in Maui, Hawaii, deal with your programming you received from your mother and father. So in the puja, we did some exercises. There was one for the mother and one for the father. And a puja, you want to explain what a puja is?
Puja just means offering or ceremony. And so that during the first week of the Tantra School, one of the things that we really get into doing ultimately is working out how you can distinguish for yourself, and then how you can teach people the same thing, to distinguish your lovers from your dads and your mothers, and to be able to get past the automatic programming from your childhood and from your culture, and to be able to just be yourself in the moment. So we really go through that in the very first week. That's one of our major things that we accomplish.
So the thing that really stood out for me in the puja that was at Mount Madonna in Northern California was the beautiful music, live music by Sophia, the artist. And I remember just going from station to station. When you go from station to station, you look in the eyes of the person before you, and this circle was a circle of men facing a circle of women. So you would rotate partners, and these were all beautiful ceremonial exercises that took you deeper into this experience. And so I was just sobbing. Tears were just flowing down my eyes, especially when we got to the exercises about mother and father.
Well, let me just say that, if you're in a place where you can do this, closing your eyes is really good. If you could just picture sort of the earth mother goddess, the essence of mother, just holding you, just really holding you and really feeling the child within you, and just feel her absorbing any kind of pain or rancor or problems you have with women or with your own mother, and just imagine that happening, and this loving mother, essence of mothering, holds you and transmits any kind of grief or upset you have to the earth for reprogramming, and you can just feel yourself letting go. Well, that's the kind of thing that happens in a puja as you successively go from partner to partner. And so you have these symbolic exercises, and then in succeeding days, you work through the particulars that allow you as an individual to be free of your programming and to be the chooser in your life now, and how to teach other people to do that.
So I didn't really know what path I was getting on when I got on that train back in Mount Madonna, but it was divine perfection, the timing, because my parents were crossing over, and so I was just so deeply moved by the experience, and it started my healing, my deep healing that I needed to have with both my parents. At first, before I went through Tantra School, I kind of believed that my mother was more... I didn't have as good of a relationship with my mother than my father, that my mother was kind of abusive to me in some ways, although I didn't really go deeply into what the abuse was like with my mother until I did get into some of the therapy that we go through in Tantra School. The benefit of doing that is I eventually have become very free of my programming, and our exposure to our parents is what causes this initial imprinting or programming on our psyche. And so mine was, I was shutting down because my mother was very abusive because she was crazy. She was schizophrenic, undiagnosed. And my mother and father were a system, and my father was in a part of this system, two-person system, because he allowed it to happen. It would have been better perhaps had he removed the children from mom's exposure, especially me, the youngest. However, things weren't very sophisticated back in the 50s and 60s. This is the way everybody was, and we just kind of did life day after day. So, and I have forgiven my mother through going through all the exercises.
We say, remember Mom, remember Dad. They did the best with what they had.
However, I was deeply affected to the core of my being by what happened at the hands of my mother, that it affected my ability for happiness and joy and pleasure and even my desire to live. So little did I know when we started that weekend, those 2 series of weekends, this unfolding, like the lotus blossom in Tantra, that would happen.
But see, what we see here is what we call the growth of a killer critic, a part of the person, little Janet, who said, you shouldn't even live.
So we went through more of it as we got into Tantra School. But if I recall back 15 years ago when I met you, my first exposure to Tantra School wasn't your brand of Tantra School. You were still working with Charles Muir.
Oh, right.
Right, and so